Thank you, Mr. Jordar.
This
I hope
call is now being recorded.
Dr. Gio also have joined.
Yes, sir.
So both the speakers have joined so far, no?
Madam Rubita has joined also.
And Dr. Gio.
Geo sir has also joined. Dr. Geo sir has also joined, sir.
I'm here.
Okay.
Sir is there.
Yeah.
So very good afternoon to all the viewers and all the attendees, and welcome Dr. Rupita and Dr. Gio from Nagaland University and Dr. Rubita from Manipur University for this webinar from IHM Gwalior. In spite being a holiday today, sir, Dr. Gio, you have taken time, and Dr. Rubita, you have taken time to join our webinar. So I express the thankfulness to you, and in this webinar, actually, the paired state is Manipur and Nagaland for Madhya Pradesh. So we are here to discuss about the rural tourism, the impact of rural tourism. So viewers, actually, if you just recall the address by the Prime Minister, the Atmanirbhar Bharat, the self-reliant India, as well as that Bhokal for local. So if you just coin these two simple words, I think you will get that actually in spite of going other places apart from India and away from India or far off from India, it is always better to explore ourselves from the tourism angle. So India is full of tourism in every cities, in every villages, in every rural areas, and in every nook and corners. So only thing is that we just prefer the outside things fast and our own things last. So the things have changed. The corona has changed our everything, every mode of our thinking and thoughts. So this is the time that we have to think for our own tourism, which is existing in the villages, in the rural sectors, in the far, in the suburban areas, and in our all different corners, so nook and corners of our country. So it is the right time that for the tourism, we should not think of the far places. There was a time that if a person is visiting Switzerland, if a person is visiting Dubai, that we are thinking that okay, they have done a great job and they are the affordable community and they are the only people who can frequent flying and visiting the far off places, and they were all boasting of. And we are also feeling proud that okay, they got a chance to visit the are of places like Israel, Egypt, Switzerland, Dubai, Australia, etc. But nowadays it is there. What I feel in our country, when everything is there, so why not explore our own country rather than trying the other countries? Actually, India is such a country, the village is dominated, the villages are dominating our economy. So it is more than 50% of our community or of our people are staying in the rural areas. So their cuisine, their culture, their dances, their costumes, their food, their lifestyle, everything matters in tourism. And not only that, the products developed in the rural areas are definitely sold in the urban areas. So people get more attracted the hand woven saris, the hand woven the handmade toys, the country made gift items rather than the machine made items or imported items nowadays. People value for the rural economy and the rural people's contributions to the GDP of our country. So in this way, in this webinar, we will be all waiting to hear from Dr. Rubita, who has already joined before also, and this time also she has given her kind consent to join us. Thank you, madam, so much. And Dr. Gio, for the first time, we have invited you, sir, and you have given your kind consent from the Nagaland universities. And we know that we are not full-fledged in the unlocking period still, that anybody can go to your place or your people can come to the central part of our country. Still, I think it will take a couple of months more, maybe, when everything will be normalized from the flights point of view, from the train point of view, from the road transport point of view. So when everything will be normalized, I hope there will be again cross cultural exchanges by visiting the people of our place to your place and your place to our place in the past also, we are very lucky that just before lockdown started in the month of March, we had a group of students with faculty visited these two states of Kohima, Nagaland, and Manipur, particularly the Impal and Kohima, so that students had gathered a great experiences with them. So that we are feeling ourselves lucky because the student exchange program was just declared and we grabbed the opportunity. And after that, lockdown started. So it is always better that the villages are more beautiful and more attractive than the man-made cities and towns of the present era. So in this context, I welcome all the panel members or the keynote speakers for the today's events, and my colleagues are also there to support, and the students community who have joined as an attendee, the viewers for this today's webinar. So I welcome everybody, and let's have a great learning point. And we'll hear to both of our speakers for this day. And over to you now for the rest of the activities. Thank you.
So I will thank our Dr. Das sir for giving us a green signal to start with the session. So being the host of the session, I'm starting this webinar with the following submissions. Rural and tourism, the combination of two simple words, which are not only splendid and magical, but also incredible to believe. When anyone comes across this unified terminology called rural tourism, we know the word rural is an indication towards the village-like atmosphere. Not only that, in general conception, it creates an immediate thought imbibed with the lack of electricity, water, deplorable roads, poor get-up of the residents. But the other side of it is again incredible. That is, the dwellers of rural India are gifted with a clean heart, an innocent look, a sense of offering pure hospitality, and an unforgettable see-off with tear-born eyes offered to the guests, who are supposed to be no less than God. Yes, believe me, it is incredible. Have we ever thought that how beautiful the ruralism could be? How heart-touching the rural dwellers could be? How unbelievable the reception, godlike treatment, and seeing off could be on the part of the rural people offered to the urban dwellers? Perhaps not. Yes, trust me, it is incredible. It is a proven fact that the splendor of life is visible in rural India. The form of God is sensed in the ruralism of India. The beauty of nature is enjoyed in the ruralism of India. One can dream the beauty of nature, which could be well explored and understood through rural tourism. Yes, have faith on me, it is incredible. We are proud to stage this webinar showcasing a breath-holding session, exploration of rural tourism of Nagaland, Manipur, and Madhya Pradesh, complying with the direction of Ministry of Tourism, Government of India, paying homage to our motherland, India, in the honor of holy scheme, One India, Best India, that is Ek Bharat, Shresth Bharat, and of course, nurturing the faith that rural tourism is the breath of India, pride of India, glitter of India. Yes, trust me, my India is one India and best India, and therefore it is always incredible. I, Bankim Joardar, in the capacity of Food Production Committee head and acting on behalf of the competent authority, that is Office of the Principal, Institute of Hotel Management, Gwalior, welcome wholeheartedly our honorable keynote speakers, Dr. Iringbam Rubita, Assistant Professor, Manipur University, and Dr. Nizozio, Assistant Professor, Nagaland University, to preside over the session and enlighten our participants with their valuable speech. I express my indebtedness to the Honorable Principal in Charge, Dr. Manoj Kumar Das sir, for allowing this webinar to take shape exclusively in a class of its own in collaboration with the Regional Director, India Tourism, Indore. I express my heartfelt gratitude to my co-host, Mr. Rajat Roy Chaudhary, who has burnt all his midnight oil and left no stone unturned to give an ultimate shape to this webinar, which is once again incredible, bearing sufficient testimony towards the words Incredible India. Now, I will request the co-host, Mr. Rajat Roy Chaudhary, to take over the steering of the session and gain momentum as per the schedule. Thank you. So, Mr. Rajat Roy Chaudhary.
Right. Thank you very much, Jodha sir. That was a fantastic explanation of what is Ek Bharat Shreshtha Bharat. So I would like to start, and without wasting much time, we have two phenomenal speakers with us. So, participant, before we start with the speakers, I would like to say one more thing that remember one thing: we go to the college and schools to study so that we get a job, we get a bank account, and we settled our life. But the speakers, Dr. Rubita ma'am and Dr. News Nizozio, are the example of two phenomenal people who have sacrificed their knowledges for the development of the society and development of the tourism. This is the beauty of education. Do not sell your education to earn money, but gain the education and dedicate to the society. That's what Dr. Zio and Dr. Rubita ma'am are doing for the years. All right. So now I would like to welcome Dr. Zio sir from Nagaland University to enlighten us on the rural tourism in Nagaland. Please, sir.
Good evening, everyone, and thank you, Rajat Roy. Can you hear me?
Yeah,
Yes,
it's
sir.
Am
loud
I
and
audible?
yeah, loud, sir, loud and clear.
Okay, good. Thank you for inviting me to this webinar and to talk and introduce the state of Nagaland, that is my state, to all of you. And as I get to know, I'm glad that some of the students have even visited Kohima and also Manipur. So I'm glad to be a part of your program and introduce to you and also highlight some of the aspects of my state, Nagaland, and hopefully which will interest you all, the students and the faculty, and encourage you to visit our state and build that rapport with one another. Um, Nagaland University also had paired with some other states. I forgot, but some students have come to Nagaland University where I was the host, and some of our students also went to mainland India. Well, as I begin, just a small correction. My name is Nizo, not Zio, but Puro, okay, Puro. So that can be corrected later. Anyway, just to introduce to you, I am a faculty in Nagaland University based here at Lumami. Well, as you all are aware, our small state called Nagaland is located in the northeastern part of the country, and it borders Myanmar in the east and borders Manipur and Assam, Arunachal Pradesh. The Naga inhabitants inhabit even the Myanmar part of their country, and also Assam, Manipur, as well as Arunachal Pradesh. Even though the political boundary is already made, but our Nagas inhabit even in those different states and also in Myanmar. The interesting thing is, as some of you might have read, the international boundary cut across the house of the Ang, or called the king of the village, in Longwan, that is in Mon district. So the interesting thing is the international boundary cuts across this the village king's house in the middle, and so the house is part of it is in Myanmar and part of it is in India, in Nagaland. So we have very different, kind of interesting things. Just a small some stats for you all. Maybe you will get it even if you browse it in the net. But anyway, um, Nagaland comprises of major 16 tribes, and there are many more sub tribes as well. So it's a land of tribes. The indigenous people are tribal people here in Nagaland. And so 16 tribes are spread across 11 districts in the state, and which each tribe has its own distinct culture, each tribe has its own distinct festival, and each tribe has its own cuisines, and also it enjoys its own heritage, and it is passed on from one generation to the other generation through practice and also through verbal transmission and so on. Now, the land of Nagaland, as you will see in some of the brochures, or even the tourism department of Nagaland promotes Nagaland as the land of festivals. Why? Because each tribe celebrates festival starting from the early part, that's January onwards, till April and May. The monsoon season or summer season is a cultivation time for the tribesmen, and so no festivals. But again, beginning from October till late December, there is always one or the other tribe celebrating festivals. Interestingly, these festivals are correlated with the beliefs of the tribesmen. They are also related with the cultural activities and agricultural practices. For example, most of the hillsmen, the tribesmen in Nagaland, still practice Jum cultivation, or in other words, called slash and burn cultivation. So, at the beginning of a slash or cutting off the forest and the beginning of sowing seeds, there are festivals for seeking God's blessing for rain, and so on by different tribes people. People in the Kohima and neighboring districts, they practice what they call as terrace cultivation. Terrace cultivation, as you might have seen in the brochure. And so once they start the terrace cultivation, they seek God's blessing in the form of festivals and prayers and so on. So you see a lot of festivals going across the whole year round, and therefore Nagaland is tagged as the land of festivals. So you may, anytime you come, you may bump into one or the two festivals that you see in Nagaland. Apart from the festivals, Nagaland is also known by different subtitles by different tribes people. For example, we have, of course, the state capital, Kohima, which is our administrative capital. But we have other districts, and some of the site titles given is uh, the Mokokchung district is known as the land of music and fashion, or now it's also known as the land of the pioneers. And this district Mon, or the Konyaks, the tribes people in Mon district are known as the Konyaks, and they are known as the land of the Angs. Um, Parent district, which you have the Ziliang tribesmen people living in Parent district. They are known as the Green district, which promotes natural tourism or green tourism. The Chakisangs, which inhabit the Peg district, they are known as the land of tradition. The Lotas that inhabit the Woka district are known as the land of plenty, and Zuneboto, where the Sema tribesmen inhabit, they are known as the land of warriors, and so on. So each district, its own unique tribesmen with its own unique culture practices, they are known that way. So each tribesmen have their own festivals, and they have their own cultural practices, prayers, and so on. However, to promote tourism in Nagaland, the state government and also the tourism department have come up with a festival called the Hornbill Festival, which runs from the 1st of December till the 10th of December every year. And that's the festival is organized by the government of Nagaland, and also it takes place in a place called Kisama, which is about 10 kilometers from the state capital Kohima. So that 10 days celebration festival showcases the entire tribes people coming together, and then they perform the cultural dances, folk songs, even their practices, and so many things happen. It started off with just a show for the state, but it broadened up to be incorporating the northeastern states, where we have cultural troops from Manipur, Mizoram, Assam, and Meghalaya, and all northeastern states coming. And now it has gained even international fame. And then so we have Korean festivals in there. We have even Thai people coming at Thai festival, Thai India festival, Korea India festival, uh, different different years. And so if one is interested to have a look at the rural Nagaland, the tribesmen, and if you are not able to travel across the state, I don't have time with you, then you can plan your coming and visiting Nagaland in the first week of December from 1st to 10, and then you can have an overview of the people and tribesmen of Nagaland. So that's what I would like to also welcome you all to this festival called the Hornbill Festivals. Nagas by itself are people who are fun loving, they're honest, they're hospitable, they enjoy company of others as well, and they have a heart, willing heart to give and also accommodate. And so you will see Naga people as really fun loving, and also to be people to get along very well. Yes, Nagas have come a long way from the headhunters and the nature worship. Now slowly it has been changing. It is changing with the coming of Christianity in the state, and so on. However, yet we still have those beliefs, and also our culture is linked so much with nature, and the nature worship also, it's still going on. However, you can see the changes in Naga people. Um, so that's something that I think you can take with you. The cuisines that, if you are interested with, we have a lot of commonalities with the South Asian group of people in terms of our cuisine. For example, a lot of organic vegetables. We are meat eaters, of course, but do consume a lot of organic vegetables, wild vegetables, and so many other things. You must have heard about akhuni, which is a fermented soya bean, which, of course, if some of you are interested in movies, there is a movie called Akhuni, Axone, which specifically, I think they told that Sema people prepare well along with dried pork, which is a very famous and a popular dish for the Naga people. Bamboo shoots. Bamboo shoots are a very common diet, and we eat bamboo shoots in different forms, in dry, fresh, fermented, and so on. Whereas the Lota tribes people are more expert, or what the dish they prepare seems to be more tasty than the others. And so we have a lot of cuisines like that. The one of the hottest chili in the world, called Raja chili, or the King Naga King chili, is also available. And so do eat a lot of spicy food as well, along with, of course, the other non-veg. And you will see a lot of similarities with South Asian tribes people, or South Asian group of people across the continent. And so you can taste all those things. With we grow our own tea, we prepare our own tea, dry and process in an organic way, and then there is a famous beverage called the zuto, which is prepared by the Angamis, and you will taste that even in the Hornbill Festival, and so on. So there are a lot of things that you can taste and then enjoy. One of the things I would like to also talk about in this webinar, and also highlight, is the nature tourism, which is so important. And I think if you are a bird lover, um, or just cross the mountains, walk across the nature, Nagaland can provide a lot of those ecstasies as you walk across the mountains. It's rugged mountains and so on. It's connected. All the districts are connected by road. There's no train facility, but of course the roads do have its own share of problems, being the rural and landslides and so on. But a lot of people do come to trek take a natural route and trek naturally to different places, and you enjoy a lot of nature. There are a lot of caves there in Nagaland. Saramati is the highest peak, which also you have the snow-capped Saramati, which is bordering Myanmar, and just below that you will have caves. A lot of caves, and earlier people used to live there, but now a lot of bats do live there. You have bat harvesting going on in that area as well. You have honeybees and all kinds of bees that you will see. It's so rich. One of the tastiest apples, I think, in the country also you will see, called the Tanamere apples. There in just below the foothills of, or in the foothills of the Mount Saramati. A lot of other green vegetables or locally available wild vegetables also very common in the state of Nagaland. And so nature tourism and also bird tourism, migratory birds called the birds cross our state. um, oh, I forgot the name of that bird, but yeah, migratory birds come from Siberia to roost in our state, and then they fly back. And so that's in the month of October, yeah, October, November, you will see the migratory birds. And so if you are keen bird watcher, that also will provide a lot of taste to you and interest to you as well. So I think I will not take too much time, but the nature tourism is so important. Rural tourism, of course, the state's capital, Kohima, and also Dimapur, which is the commercial capital of the state, is slowly modernizing. And so you will see those places a little modernized. But if you really would like to take a look at the rural tribe tribe people, then you have to travel into the districts of Pek, districts of Mon, Tuensang, Noklak, which are bordering the international borders, Myanmar. And so you will see this kind of rural people living, still the earlier tribes people, how they live. And so you can get the taste of real tribes people living there as well. So those are some interesting things that you can also have a look. As Nagas, our feature, our culture, and also our heritage slightly differs from the mainland India, as we all aware. And so I think it will give people a different taste if, as you come to our state, Nagaland. It has a lot of things to give to the tourists and people who come to visit. We are still trying to tap resources with all our natural beauty, bioresources that is available. You can think about, for example, if you are a nature lover, you can think about different flowers. You have flowers, particularly the orchids, different orchids that you will see in the state. We have more than 400 species of orchids in the state. We have a lot of mushroom species, if you're interested, those which are edible as well. We have the world's tallest rhododendron tree in the state, which is called Rhododendron arboreum in the Jaffa Peak as well. We have highland, what you call grasslands or highland places where rhododendron grows very dominantly and frequently visited by the tourists, called the Zuku Valley, which gives you a beautiful natural sight and with very beautiful flowers, which flowers in the month of May, June, July. You can trek from Kohima. You will see beautiful Zuku Valley. This you can get information even in the net. And so those are some of the things that you can think about when you're planning to visit Nagaland. Well, yes, there are little restrictions for the mainland people to enter, but you can always get permissions prior to enter Nagaland. We call it as the inner line permit, which you can get it from any offices of Nagaland. If you have Nagaland House in different places, you can get that, or even get it online as well. You can get that permit and then get into Nagaland. The entry point to Nagaland, as you are aware, is Dimapur, which is frequented place. Dimapur is connected through air. You can travel from any part of the country to Dimapur by flight. You can also travel by train to Dimapur, or you can even take the road to Dimapur from Guwahati. Or if you fly to Imphal, you can get also to Kohima by road, and that those are the frequently used routes to enter to Nagaland. However, there is also another route that you can take. They can fly into Jorhat, Assam, and from Jorhat you can climb up to a district called Mokokchung. That's where I live. You can come up to Mokokchung, and from Mokokchung you can travel to Zunaboto, Mon, Tuensang, to the eastern part of Nagaland. To the earlier it's called the Nefa. So the eastern part of Nagaland you can easily access from Mokokchung, in the sense that you can fly into Jorhat and take it about 3 to 4 hours ride uphill to Mokokchung, and also you can take the train even to Jorhat or even to Mariani in Assam, and from there you can take the local conveyances and climb up to the roads up to Mokokchung. So those are some of the entry points. If you travel to Mon, there's another entry point where you can go to Nagini Mora, and then from there you can climb up to Mon. So across the border of Assam, you have about 2 or 3 entry points into Nagaland. But the popularly taken is the Dimapur entry point, where you can fly in or you can come by train, and then from there you take the local conveyances by bus or by small vehicles. They can take you around across the state. There are many tour agents and people who are taking care of tourism. State government tourism department is one where you can directly contact, or even they have local tourisms and so on, where you can always take their help, and then get in touch with how to travel, and then get your accommodations and your travel routes planned out by this local tourist groups of people. And so I think I do have a lot of things to say, but maybe I will give time to the other speaker also. And with that brief introduction about the state of Nagaland, I hope that will create interest in you. If you are a food lover, definitely come. You will really enjoy. If you are interested in the seeing culture, music, you can still come. We have that package for you. If you just love nature and live with nature and stay in nature, that also is available in the state, and so that you can think about it. Or even if you are a lover of music as young people, if you are interested with Western music, rock music, we do have festival, as I said, even in the Hornbill Festival, which we have even the rock bands across the world coming in. So you will enjoy that as well. So I think we do have a lot of things to provide to people who are interested, and so you are all welcome to the state of Nagaland. And thank you so much. If there's anything to take on, questions or queries, I'll take that later on. Will that be okay, Rajat Roy?
Yeah, that will be fantastically okay, sir.
Yeah.
All
Okay.
right.
Yeah.
So thank you very much, Dr. Nizo. And I think I must say one thing: all the 28 participants will take your invitation as an acceptance. Whenever the lockdown is over, we will coming to your place to enjoy the festivals, as well as the great food and the beauty of your Nagaland tourism. Definitely will come, sir. Okay.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah.
We all will
Yeah.
come as a team. Okay, all right.
Good.
So now, people, it's time that we have enjoyed a fantastic hospitality under the guidance of Dr. Nizo, virtually, obviously. Now it's time to take a bath in Loktak Lake and enjoy some nice meat and vegetable preparation. That's aromba. So it's not possible because it's due to the lockdown. So we'll listen everything virtually from Rubita ma'am. And I must say one thing, Miss Rubita ma'am is also feeling slightly bit of homesick because she is also an alumni of Jivaji University.
Yeah.
So it's yeah. So I believe it feels like virtually home away from home. We can't do it. We can't do it on a offline mode. That's the restriction. So yes, Rubita ma'am, please enlighten us with your wisdom of knowledge, please.
A very good afternoon, everyone. And in case in between, if my network goes off and on, you have to tell me because there has been heavy rain since yesterday, and the network is a little bit not good right now. But I'll start with my topic. Can I just share my screen? Present now. Your interest. Can you see my screen?
Yes, ma'am, it's coming. Yeah, that's
Hello.
great.
Okay.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
great. It's great. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's
So
visible. It is visible.
this is the second time I'm coming. So I was thinking because of time constraint, I was thinking I'll just speak on what I have been doing the last time, but I thought no, the student and the others should get more. So this time around, last time I have talked about the opportunities, about the challenges. I have explained about a little bit of short analysis about the rural tourism or tourism in general, what the problem are faced here in Manipur. So today, a little bit sidetrack from them, I will try to explain today the rural tourism destination and activity that are popular right now. Even though most of the state of Manipur is under rural area, almost 90% is under rural area, but these are the sports which are popular right now regarding rural tourism. So I'll skip to this because we already know that India has a vast potential because of our rural, India being a rural solely rural area and dependent solely on agriculture. This all know, so I'm just skipping it. And what rural tourism actually means, it's the typical tourism activity that takes place in a rural setting, whether it's hometown or in its close area. Then this tourism serves to get away from hectic and stressful life. Then they should provide peace and relaxation and absolute rest. What is the traffic noise and pollution, then the tourism and diversity, the economy and regional employment should be effective. And there are certain typical features like the community participation, incorporating different form of tourism. Then village should be promoted. Tourist shopping center can be open. Local transportation, traditional use of transport, tour production like this. This all I have discussed last time, so I'm just skipping it and coming back to why it is important for why it is important for Manipur to develop rural tourism in India. As we all know that Manipur is a landlocked state. The land is locked by 7 ranges of hill, so almost 90% of them are under rural area, and it have a conductive agroclimatic condition for fruits and vegetable, and there are various flora and fauna which are unique for this place, like the Siroi lily, which are only found in the Siroi hills of Ukhrul district. Then we have bow, the Sangai, locally known as Sangai, or the bow antlet deer, which are only found in the Kaibulamjau National Park, or that is near Moirang, or as Rajat had said, near the Loktak area. Then the state of Manipur is as of today, it's a well blessed by nature, and it lays upon one of the world richest biodiversical area. And rural tourism, being a multifaceted activity, will take place that can take place in a environment outside heavily urbanized area. So for Manipur, being a landlocked state, and apart from that 90% being in a rural area, it's very difficult for heavy industry to develop here. So rural tourism is a source where we can develop our economy, we can develop our rural area, we can generate employment, we can generate economy. So that's why rural tourism is very important for Manipur. And right now the newest traveler, they are better educated traveler, and they have taken them on upon themselves to try on new things. And these new things, the state of the northeastern state, and particularly my I state. So since I am from Manipur, I'm just promoting Manipur. So particularly my state can be of be of a very good destination for this kind of what to say, hatke traveler, those who want to do hatke things. So concern for nature and its sustainability is also growing, but the interest for alternate tourism, such as preference in driving the tourists to rural area, this all is why the importance of rural tourism development is more so in Manipur market, Manipur state. So, uh, as I've said before, today I won't go with much of a theoretical part, but rather I'll try to discuss the place where rural tourism can be done, or where it is popular right now. So these pictures, these are from the Moirang district. It is a small town nestled in the state of Manipur and have seen war and upheavals in the past, but beautiful nonetheless because of the famous Loktak Lake. The Loktak Lake is situated in this town only, and the Loktak Lake has serene water in home to water in home to plethora of flora and fauna, and this is a perfect for weekend getaway or to unwind and relax. And it's also the safe haven of Sangai deer, or the bow antlet deer, or the dancing deer, which were once thought to be extinct. And because of the hard work of the forest department and the environment conservation department, as well as the work of the local people over here, the number of count of the Sangai had increased in the last count. And this a short trip in Moirang will rejuvenate our soul and make you feel fresh. So here the possibility is that there are handloom and handicraft available over here, the activity that can be done over here. And it is particularly nice to visit Moirang at the time of Lai Harauba, which is one of the local festival over there, where there is almost like 9 to 15 days of festival of pure praying to indigenous goddesses. Then we have Loktak Lake and Kaibul Lamjao, one of the most popular homestay in the state of Manipur are done in Loktak Lake and in Thanga Karang and in Kaibul Lamjao. So as I said before, Kaibul Lamjao is the natural habitat of the Sangai. This Loktak it is known for its picturesque floating swamp of land called the Fumdis, locally called the Fumdis. These Fumdis are full of circular swamp of land pieces, and this grab the attention naturally, and mainly they are the miscellaneous collection of soil, vegetation, and decomposing organic matter. On this Fumdis only, they make hut. The farmer usually make hut and do the fishing. Now what they have done is they have renovated this hut into small cottages where a tourist can come and stay for a night. So this one is one of the unique experience you can feel here, you can enjoy here. Then this take forms when the foliage floating in the water piles up together over the course of many years, inhabited by the fishermen. The whole view of the fresh national park turned into a paradise as soon as the sunset. And as I've mentioned last, in this area there are lots of lotus flower. Before, the lotus flower were mainly used to offer flower to the goddess, the flower, then we eat the fruit, and then the stem called the Kamal Kakri. Now this lady from Thanga Karang, Tongbram Vidyasanti Devi, she had turned this their lotus stem fiber into a lotus silk, which is very expensive in the international market. This kind of silk is produced in Japan. From that kind of technique, she drew inspiration, and now she is producing this kind of shawl and scarf from lotus stem only. Then nearer to this Moirang or Sendra, there's this INA Memorial Complex where we can revisit history. It's one of the place where where the INA soldiers had first hoisted the Indian national flag, and this kind of memorable memorial of the fallen soldier as a soldier before its destruction at the hand of British Indian Army captured in 1945. This complex also contained museum solely dedicated to the INA, along with the library and an auditorium and a statue of Subhash Chandra Bose. Then the stone monument had also been erected at historic Moirang Kangla, where Colonel S. S.A. Malik, leading an INA unit, raised the flag of Azad in April 1944. And again, nearer to this place, near to Moirang only, there is a Ras Mancha, a good place for experienced seeker. This place is a less explored tourist attraction in Manipur. Normally, less people know about it. And this is located in Bishnupur district, and a temple earlier where the Ras Leela festival was celebrated, and it also used to stage dances. It is believed that the oldest pyramidal superstructure, brick temple, at present this temple had become one of the top heritage site in Manipur and is protected by the Archaeological Survey of India, and it is showcased nowadays by lightning at night. Then we'll come to the hilly part of this Manipur, Tamenglong, and locally in here this Tamenglong district is known as the land of hornbill in us. Then it is a beautiful district in the hill greenery and nature. The place is culturally rich and naturally pretty, and it's home to the people belonging to the Jalairong community, a tribe community in Manipur. Then this place is not crowded by the tourists. They're the best part of being in an offbeat destination, not be the place not being crowded. As in has an abundance or exotic orchids, as Mr. Nero had said before. In northeast part of India, we have lots of unique orchids. Even in Manipur state only, we have more than 500 variety of orchids. So we have this district, or you can say this place, had abundance of exotic orchids and a number of hornbill, deep forest, and rich diversity of flora and fauna. One can easily, we can catch a glimpse of the pigeon, wild boar, leopards, sambar, and even hyenas and tiger too, if we are lucky. So the attraction here in Tamenglong will be the Jailat Wildlife Sanctuary, Burning Meadow, Jailat Lake, and Tharun Cave. Tharun Cave, I like to mention here is that it's situated 4 kilometers from the Tharon village in Tamenglong only, and it is at the height of 900 meters above the ocean level. And this cave holds the proof that 2,000 years old Hobbinian culture of North Vietnam existed in India. So there are several caverns situated, interconnected with about 34 joints, and they have around 5 exits. And this 650-meter cave is not very decorative, but it's very well ventilated. Even though a detailed map of the entire cave had been done at the entrance of the cave, there are so many places that we are bound to get lost if you are in the wrong turn. So an experienced guide is needed in case if you are visiting these caves. So inside this cave, the passages are so narrow that you have to bend down or crawl even to move from one cave to another. So the visitor are advised to wear appropriate clothes, use a helmet and headlamp. We should always remember to watch our head. As we go further down, we need to enter the lower hole. The legendary story behind this is that the hole is so neat. The cave is extremely dark and vast. It is really adventurous the way one enters and goes out around the cave. It's a great spot of attraction for those who are interested in anthropologists and archaeologists. Then we have Fayeng. This small village is one of the greenest village in Manipur, and it is a scheduled caste village, and Chakpa communities live here, and this is in the Imphal West district of Manipur, and its conservation efforts are mainly linked to the belief that the forest is scarecrow for them. But the idea had changed around the year, because in the 70s and 60s, the people living over there had cut down the trees for timber purpose, for the financial purpose. So after the cutting down the tree, they can feel that the temperature is rising. There were no water in the village, and even people were feeling falling sick. So the village decided that the forest need to be rejuvenated at any cost. So the Umang Kanba look literally translated into the forest forest protector has then they have come up with various rules involving about 660 families in the village and recreated the forest. Now the place is so much green, so much this one, so much carbon, so much natural that it had been taken as the first Indian village to get a carbon positive settlement tag. So and then after this, the lots of the national funding agency like the Adaptation Fund of Climate Changes have invested in them lots of rupees so that this can be so that the village can be more developed. After this, we'll come to the easternmost part of the Manipur state, and this where the Andro, it is a home to the unique form of pottery. So Andro, with everything from traditional handicraft, indigenous brew, we have rice wine, where it is brew, where they say, I'm sorry, I have not tasted that, but people say that the rice wine is very good. And then there are ancient temples shrouded with local folklores. And Andro village is an insightful gaze into the rich heritage. So tucked away in the foothills of the Nomai Ching Range, the Andro village is located in Imphal, West District of Manipur, known for its scenic beauty, pleasant climate, and warm hospitality. So it is around 26 kilometers from the main Imphal city and is inhabited by the lowest community of Manipur, which may believe were the earlier settler in this region. So the legacy depicts the rich travel tradition of the state. Andro village had been developed to represent the cultural heritage and artful creativeness of the Manipur. The residents, they are very warm, hospitable, and skilled in several handicraft, and are keen on upholding and preserving their slowly disappearing tradition and custom. In this is why the noted anthropologist, writer, and humanistic Mutua Bahadur had built an cultural complex called the Mutua Museum, where all the tribes, Manipur, all the tribes, Meitei community, all the tribal artifacts are shown in this museum. So what apart from the scenic beauty, being in a rural area, being a bit good picnic spot and all, what is the unique place where we can promote rural tourism over here is the unique pottery over here. Unlike other pottery, they don't use pottery wheels to make this pottery. Rather, they use a wooden set bed to shape the clay pottery in whatever design, in whatever shape they want. So and then they are dried, and then they are dried and baked for 4 days in the fire. Then then after that they take it out and been given a special fried and special dye to shine by the natural dye made from the bark of a tree found locally over there. The unique thing is that this this artisan or their skill is transferred from the mother-in-law to his daughter-in-law. But non-married, those who are not married, are not allowed to participate in this pottery making. Then another interesting fact about this village is the sacred fire said to be ignited 1,000 of years ago, and till now this fire had not been put off. So what they do is two house take duty to light the fire for that day. Then the next day another two house will take the duty, and so on. The whole year the whole village will have a duty to light the fire, and this is how they are keeping the fire. And they have and till now they had put it off. In our myth or mythology, there is a saying that in case if this fire is is put off or extinguished, then there will be some bad thing happening in Manipur. That's the belief locally over here. So next is the Senapati, where Senapati district, where we can have a cultural insight. So blessed with nature's bounty, Senapati is a yet simple yet intriguing hideout and one of the best tourist places in Manipur. Almost 80% of the area is covered in forest, and the rest of it is inhabited by the village. The hamlet make for an ideal escape for someone longing for a cultural insight to Manipur. We can also spend the days exploring the woodland in the evening time with local who knows may as well as cook something special for you. So the attraction here in Senapati is the Purol, Mao, Nyangkulen, Makhil Cave, Sadachiru waterfall, and Maram Kulen. In Senapati district, there is this Laimaram waterfall. It is about 25 kilometers from Imphal city, main city, and it's a picture perfect attraction for all the nature lover who wish to seek a delightful holiday time in Senapati. Also esteemed as a Laimaram waterfall, Sadachiru is a tourist place of scenic beauty, cascading from a height of nearly 300 meters. Sadachiru waterfall make an enthralling sight for tourists to see there beside the mist emerging from the image of serenity. The route to fall initially cut through the forest and foliage, and finally a climb up stone step. However, all the effort to reach this beautiful tourist destination in Senapati are worthy enough to release the extinguished beauty of Sadachiru waterfall. En route, there are affluent crop fields and small streams that add a unique or rustic charms to the picture. The valley from which the waterfall surrounded is profusely green and extremely alluring. On a whole, this beautiful tourist place in Senapati is a delight to any tourist. Next, we have the district of Ukhrul, where tranquility prevails. This is also a hill station. It is known for its scenic splendor, and Ukhrul is among the best places to see in Manipur. The natural beauty is such that you can meditate for hours and find peace of mind when planning to spend time here. We just need to have plenty of time in our hand, and you just need to and keep on considering to stay a little bit longer. So the activities that can be done here is trekking, then tea garden visit are the common activity, and one of the most stunning places to visit in Manipur. And the attraction in Ukhrul we can say is Nilai Tea Estate, Kachau Pung Lakes, and one of the unique attraction over is the Sirui Kasong Peak, where even in Ukhrul also we have a Kangkui Cave and Khayal Peak. Apart from this, Sirui Kasung Peak is very important because here the unique Sirui lily flower is found over here. This is a unique place only found in this place and nowhere else in the world. So this is the Sirui Kasung Peak. So being one of the most popular attraction in Ukhrul, the Sirui Kasung Peak lies and it's at an altitude of 2,835 meters above sea level. It is famous for two things, that is the river flowing across Ukhrul and the services of the peak, and the second is Sirui lily growing in this place. So after the tireless climb up, one can get rewarded by a heavenly view of cloud. This is mesmerizing, hovering around the dappled town and village, lush green, dense and peaceful forest. Apart from this, you can get a view of the rare bird nesting there, which include Blyton Trapogon, Mr. Hume's barbecue. So this is also a place where ornithologists can have a good time over here. One thing that can be kept in mind is to carry trekking shoes and raincoat as visitor have tend to experience sudden shower when climbing the peak. Other than this, the Sirui Kasong Peak is also visited by tourists for picnic. They serve as a tourist spot all around the year. Then we have Whitehall Lake in Thobal district, a place for recreation and environment. And it's somewhere around 20 kilometers from Imphal, and it is a perennial lake in the district of Thobal. Whitehall Lake is an oval-shaped lagoon located on the Indo-Myanmar border beside the Water of the lake come down from Ningtibi Canal, which serve as the water resources of Waitau Lake. One of the best thing found here in Waitau Lake, or we can say Waitau area, is the crab over there. The crab, it is very different from what is found in other part of the state. So then we have in this, we can fish for indigenous fish over here like the ngaton, which are not found in other state. But after the establishment of the Chickshabi, Veres, and Ringbum, a number of fish had died. But now presently, it is being preserved for tourists. Just sitting on the lake with your feet dangling on the cereal water is releasing and refreshing. With its mesmerizing environment, the lake proffer an enchanting sight where you get to see the pineapple slope sprawling in wide expanses drifting down into the lake. Along with that, Waitau Lake is also an ideal place for picnicking. Both recreation and entertainment can be released at Waitau Lake. Along the natural surrounding beauty, which include the lots of pineapple gardens, the lake is also known for boating, angling, and even food stall. On a whole, we can say that Waitau Lake is one of those hideout in Thobal that can surely give some quality time with your family. Next is a Kaching district where East Day is celebrated. An important commercial hub of the state, Kaching is the best place to visit in Manipur thanks to the ease and relatively more amenities that is the travel favorite. It is on the way to the district located on the way to Myanmar border, and it is one of the stoppages where people get down to enjoy the place. Then you get a better insight to local culture over during the celebration of Harauba festival, which local enact the story of the recreation of universe dressed as deity. And we have markets, garden, theme park, more to visit when you have here. And the best what to say, the local unique locally good product here is the bamboo suit of Kaching. We says that the bamboo suit found in Kaching is the taste is not the taste is so different from what we get from the other part of the state. Then near to Kaching, we have the Khongjom Memorial, where the brave legend of the Khongjom War Memorial Complex. It's a complex of around 36 kilometers from Imphal into Indo-Myanmar Road, and it's an important historical place that remind the visitor about the war between the people of Manipur and the British Army in 1891. Specifically, the memorial is dedicated to Major General Pauna Brajabasi, who martyred while serving for his motherland. He was one of the great soldiers for Manipur who saw his utmost courage and valor against the invading British Army. And it is a reminiscence of the brave warrior the state of Manipur had produced in the past who fought for their native land. At present, it is a popular sightseeing destination in the region where tourists get to savor the sight of the 30 feet high entrance, rolling hills, and Georges Valley. Next, we have the Chandel district blessed with a nature mystic. Chandel, it's the gateway to Myanmar and it's bestowed with natural bounties. Not just that, the place boasts of diverse cultural scenario as well as one of the most stunning place to see in Manipur. So you get to see both of the best world in this paradise, which is also one of the popular Manipur attraction. In early morning, trek here is pure retreat as a mist-laden grassland and subtle sunlight greet you along the way. So while exploring the denser region, you may spot a number of rare animals and birds. So we can always keep our camera ready. So the attraction over here is the Yango Pokpi Lokcha Wildlife Sanctuary in Teknopal and the bordering town of the international with which this Moreh town share the international boundary with Myanmar. Then coming to Churchandpur, it is a developed yet a simple town. So it is surrounded by small hills and narrow valley, where it is located. Choshanpur, which is locally called Lamka, has a deep historical significance, located at a distance of approximately 63 kilometers from the capital of the state, Imphal. It is believed to have witnessed a lot of bombarding when the Japanese entered India. At that time, the town was then left devastated. With today is visited by tourists coming from different part of the world and considered to be peaceful town of Manipur. To know more about this week, you can always contact the tourism office, or there are lots of literature available regarding the same. So the attraction we can see is Tipaimuk, then we have the Tonglen Cave, Tuibong Travel Museum, Ngaloi Fall, and the Tipaimuk. So in conclusion, we can say that the development of rural tourism is very much useful for a state like Manipur, where more than 90% of the population resided in the rural area. And since rural tourism implies both economic betterment of the people as well as for a greater social reformation, since Manipur is well blessed by nature, and it lays at the center of world richest biogeographical area, this state have a potential as it is full of rich natural resources and diversity. Also cultural and heritage is a great potential for adventure tourism as well. So rural tourism being a multifaceted, and it may entail farm, agricultural tourism, cultural tourism, nature tourism, and with the help of a concept of homestay, people from especially northern eastern region can earn money for their livelihood, by which they can also increase their standard of living.
Thank you, Madam Rubita. It was a very nice and
Thank you.
in-depth insight, and it's really like hard to believe that if everybody has listened to your presentation, I'm very sure that a majority of the population will take it immediate turn towards the rural tourism, and I hope people must understand this, because this is the need of the hour and demand of the time, when a majority of the population must take a turn towards the rural side, because villages are the heart of our country. And if we don't understand the meaning of the village, and if we don't understand what is village, I think the meaning of the tourism will not be very much clear to everybody. Now over to Mr. Rajat Rajchodhuri for a small presentation of Madhya Pradesh. Over to Rajat, please.
Right. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much for the opportunity once again. So yes, we got a fantastic insight from Nagaland and Manipur. It's time for a short introduction about rural tourism in Madhya Pradesh now. So please, I would like to say everybody that we are Madhya Pradesh, and we are known as the heart of incredible India. But the picture that you rightly right now you can watching on the screen is that you can see there is a map, and there is a tiger, and there is all this historical monuments. So that is very quite common, because these are all Sanchi Stoop, Khajuraho, and also the tiger reserve. So these are very much common in our state, so people know about it. What people don't know, I mean, I'm talking about the unknown now, that will enter and explore in a very short period of time. Let's take a look some interesting statistics. I would like to say in a straightforward way, domestic tourism started to increase in the year of 2018. 1.85 billion to domestic tourists make their visits from different parts of India in this year. So the thrust was there. But now the problem is that we have to take it very seriously, because if you want to restart or jumpstart a planet, or the entire gigantic diversified tourism, we need to be slightly bit of dependent on our domestic people. So as you can take a look at I just pointing my mouse over here, you can see the highest share of domestic tourism. I mean, the revenue from the domestic tourist has came from Tamil Nadu. That was the 20%. And if you take a look at Madhya Pradesh, we are standing at 4.5. It means that the domestic tourism has started to increase, but the condition is the problem is that we have to increase the rate of tourist arrival obviously, first of all, our pair state in Manipur and Nagaland, and then obviously in Madhya Pradesh also, because that's the need of the hour. So we got an opportunity here that I want to highlight, and I think our famous researchers that we have, Dr. Nizo and Dr. Rubita ma'am, will understand in a very better way. So let's take a look at this fact. If there was a survey conducted in 2016 by WHO, which shows that world most populated cities. So you can take a look. Kanpur standing at number one and Delhi at six. And fortunately, we don't have, I mean, Manipur, Nagaland, and MP, none of these cities are part of this area now. Now, when I talk about MP and Manipur and Nagaland, I'm slightly bit of selfish at this point of time because we three state want to grab the opportunity of the tourist, which obviously, yeah, I obviously like being an Indian to grow the tourism all over the country. But since MP needs had an opportunity here, we have to grab this thing. Now you can take a look at my second point. That is the very interesting one: Golden Triangle, Delhi, Agra, Jaipur. When I was working in Trident Oberoi Jaipur in Agra, in Jaipur city, I found there was a huge tourist arrival because of this reason. Delhi, Agra, and Jaipur is a Golden Triangle corridor which receives largest number of tourists in India. One of the largest. I mean that it's not that the best, the biggest, but it received the largest number. But because Delhi has got a fantastic connection with Jaipur by train, by air, and also by the road. So the moment all the foreigners arrives at Terminal 3, they straight away book a car, bus, or train, anything, and they lands up very easily in Jaipur. But in case of MP, it's slightly bit of difficult because first of all, it's not the air connectivity, but the communication. But it is not the air connectivity or the train connectivity, but the promotion require a very high level. Although the government of India, Ministry of Tourism, have taken this initiative under the Swadesh Darshan scheme to start with the Dekho Apna Desh under the guidance of our Additional Director General Rupinder Barar, who has already done some rural to tourism virtual tour in Manipur, Nagaland, as well as in MP. But yes, this is a big opportunity for us because the air quality index in MP is very fantastic at this point of time. So if it is possible, there is a possibility we can directly connect Delhi with the Gwalior and also at the same time the Bhopal, and we can bring the tourists straight away to heart of incredible India. Because Madhya Pradesh is the only state on India which has three World Heritage sites. You can take a look at on the picture. The first one with the caves, that's known as a Vimbetka. It is the World Heritage Site where you can find the paintings and carvings of Paleolithic era. On the second one, that you can see a dome-shaped structure. That's nothing but Sachi Stup, the Buddhist civilization. And at the last corner, you can see the World Heritage Site, the temple complex Khajuraho. It is these all are the three temple complex, and also we are known as Tiger State of India with 7 tiger reserves. Probably the white tiger reserves is the only one which is available in MP also, and we've got 24 wildlife sanctuaries. So we have the opportunity, we have the potential to make it the best on the planet. But even we can also beat the Golden Triangle, because when this foreigner people will come from different parts of the world, obviously they will not try to roam around in a highly polluted areas. Okay, you open up Google and type Madhya Pradesh on the Wikipedia. What do you find? You see something like this picture. On the first corner, you can see the picture like I'm sorry, on the first corner, you can see the picture like that's the Gwalior Fort, Madhya Pradesh map. And then you have look all this structure. But the interesting fact is that there are some unknown areas which we never look. Even I would also like to say, when I'm coming in 7th February to Gwalior, when I typed this Gwalior, I only found this thing. But after exploring Gwalior so much of time, I found out there are far better place than this area. And Gwalior should be used as a gateway tourism for the entire heart of incredible India. Well, let's take a look. The first one is obviously very close by, almost like 65 kilometers from the city of Gwalior. That's the Chambal region. You can see the Chambal, known as the land of revolutionaries, and it is also known as the land of the Chambal ke Daku, we all know. But please understand, don't take me wrong, it's the entire situation has got revamped at this point of time. So the first corner, you can see the second picture, that's the Atar Fort. It is the famous, it looks like a ship only, because the ship is actually like a ship. It is very close by from Gwalior also, and it is on the banks of our famous Chambal river. Now, then we move to the second one. Yes, we got a dolphin jumping and hovering on the Chambal river, because the reason for this is that due to the pollutions and all, and the industrial waste that are mixing with the river Ganges, so the entire dolphin population is now only available on this Chambal region, and also the famous crocodiles and all everything. On the other hand, you can see the last corner picture. That's the Mitabli or Chaucer Yogini temple. It is said, it is believed to be said, our Indian parliament has been constructed based on this structure. So these are the places that you can look. And then we go to the next area, which is known as Mandu. You can see on the map of MP, it is very close to Maharashtra, and it is standing on the Malwa region of MP. So there is something called Baj Bahadur Palace that you are watching on the first screen. Because why I pick up this areas, the government of MP has only initiated the rural tourism projects and homestays on these areas only. Because if you type Khajuraho, or if you type any other thing like a Bhopal or Indore, you will find a plenty of options. But here we don't have this kind of area. So that's the one. You can see that's the Baj Bahadur Palace. Baj Bahadur was a king of Malwa region, and it is also famous that his wife was one and only the queen of that area is known as Queen Rupmati, and she's also a fantastic singer and also poet. Probably the only queen of India which is who is also known as a poet, also writer. Then you go to the next point, which says that Darya Khan tomb. Darya Khan tomb is the only tomb in India. So obviously, when somebody die and then we make up a tomb and bury him inside. But Mr. Darya Khan has built up this tomb before he died, and then he took rest, his peace. I mean, like his soul was rested under this tomb. Then you go to the last one. I mean, say the Jahaj Mahal. So Jahaj is basically a ship, and Mahal is obviously the palace. It's located on a lake at Mandu, and it's also an extension of the Baj Bahadur Palace. Rani Rupmati used to stay over there. There is something called Rani Rupmati Pavilion, which is also famous for visit once again. Now we go to the next set. We say that Dhar. Now you can take a look at the map once again at MP. So it's also in the Malwa region, and you can take a look that the Dhar is, if you go to the Mandu, on the way you will find this Dhar area. So we've got the Bhojshala Mosque. That's a very interesting mosque to see. Now I put a picture of the mosque. Now you can take a look. There are lots of Indian Hindu goddess, and at the same time, the structure of the mosque. If you take a look on my last screen photos, the construction is on an Indian style. But I've said it's a mosque. Why it is something like this? Because the reason is that the king who has Mr. Raja Bhoj, the king has built up this mosque on the belief that it should be a confluence of Hindu and Muslim culture. Now in the middle you can see there is a complete look of a Muslim mosque, but other hand it is also, there are lots of Sanskrit verses, and verses from the Gita is also written over there. That makes it a confluence of two culture and region. Dhar Fort, on the highway to Dhar area, I mean to Mandu, you will encounter this great extravaganza of the Indian architecture. This is a sand fort. It's made by the sandstone, and believe me, it was built by Muhammad bin Tughlaq. It's a Sultan of Delhi. We all know that Tughlaq, the famous king, who has changed the capital overnight from Delhi to southern part of India. So that's the reason the Dhar fort has also been famous. So when the people was traveling from Delhi to southern part of India, they stayed in that fort, and for that prison this fort was built. It's a complete structure of Afghan style. The fort, if you take a look, it looks like a completely Afghanistan. If you go to Afghanistan, well, you find some forts, and that's the exactly the same architecture over here. Now, lastly, I will enter the Orcha. It's a confluence of standing on the Betwa River. So I have taken from Malwa region straight away to the Bundelkhand. So now, if you take a look, Bundela Rajput Rudra Pratap Singh, the king of Orcha, he has built up the entire thing of, he has built up actually Orcha city. Now, Chaturbuj temple, Chaturbuj means we all know it's a Hindi word, the English, it's a four arms. So that's the four arms, you can take a look. And next, obviously, we've got Ram Raja temple. That's the a beautiful complex, temple complex here. And it also receives a huge number of your foreign tourists as well as the domestic tourists every year. Jahangir Mahal. Now, the very interesting part of this Mahal is this Mahal was built up by the Orcha king Bir Singh Deo, and in the 7th century for the arrival of Jahangir. So Jahangir was obviously the son of Akbar. So when this Orcha region was only standing very strong against the might of the Mughal Empire. So this Akbar has sent a huge army with cavalry and infantry to charge in the Bundelkhand. But at this time, it was been fantastically, like, held by Bir Singh Deo with a very minimal army of 5,000. But the fight, ferocious battle broke out. But ultimately, Bir Singh Deo decided to surrender. And to welcome the King Jahangir, he has built up this entire fort. So you can take a look. Here you can see a dome shape. That's the Chaturbuj temple, a Hindu temple. This is a Mughal structure. And on the other side, you can take a look, the white color. So you can see the white color. That's your Ram Raja temple. So as you can take a look, it's a complete example of culture and historical influences, which is the best thing of, the confluence of two religion over here. But that makes it much more unique. Lastly, we entered at Datia. Datia is also another famous area. Now, it's also located on the Bundelkhand region. 69 kilometers from Gwalior also. Now, the king of Datia is believed to be known as Bir Singh Palace. But, Bir Singh Deo. But unfortunately, what happened that he built up this famous palace that you are watching on the screen right now for welcoming the King Jahangir once again. But, there's a very interesting part that in this palace or in this fort, no ruler was lived. It is just like that. It was built just like that and end up just like that. It's required lots of constructions, remedy and structural development, because as you can see, I have taken some pictures. There is some fences are being made to protect the structure. So that's about the Datia. And that's it from my side. I think it's a very, very, we are a state with a fantastic ruler, and as well as the natural and as well as the historic places which can be developed in a larger scale. So over to you, Mr. Bankim, sir.
So thank you, Mr. Rajat. It's really like astonishing, and it's very hard to believe, difficult to believe that the confluence of so many things, if a person comes to know all these things, his knowledge will rise up to such a level which will not be believed by himself also. So I'm very much thankful to Rubita madam. I'm very much thankful to Zio sir, and I'm very much thankful to Das sir also, Mr. Rajat also, and other persons. And it's really a fantastic thing, and we have learned many things. And at least at this point, I've started believing that there's no point of believing in the fact that everybody should run towards the city, and but there is nothing in the village. All wrong. At least we have come to a point from which we have proof that there is nothing as such. Village is the heart of the country, and we should respect the village dwellers. We should respect the rural area, and we should take every initiative to develop each and every corner of India, so that the entire world comes to know that yes, India is one, and there are many things to see in India. So now To come to the end of the session, I would like to invite Dr. M.K. Das sir to say few words to strengthen the faith of all the speakers and to bless us with his choicest blessings. So over to Das sir.
Uh, Thank you, Mr. Jordar. Actually, it is a time to say thanking for all the participants and as well as for all the keynote speakers. So we have Dr. Rubita, Dr. Gio, and all the participants. So it is very nice that within a span of very short time of less than 2 hours, we have tried to cover up that three states, that is Madhya Pradesh and the two pairing states of far northeastern states like Manipur and Nagaland. And we have seen that through the PPT, Dr. Rubita has shown us the very, very enchanting places and the spots of Manipur. And through the kind words, Dr. Gio also had expressed his view that how beautiful the Nagaland is. So it is really very heart touching, and we feel as if we have completed this virtual tour. And practically, if we go for a tour, I think it may take more than 2 months, but less than 2 hours we have tried to cover up. So it is really fantastic and amazing to see the countryside of our states. And I think when the time permits, I think we should grab this opportunity to visit the places. And I know that due to the positive times, very few places are only covered, but still there are plenty more to see. So it is really very um, heart touching that our country is full of so much of resources and spots that we should not think for going for more often to abroad to see the other things. But unless we explore our own country, there is no point of going to the very far off places and out of the country. So it is my humble request to all of you that when the unlock period is fully opened, I think in India we should try to visit up the places as described in the by the three speakers, Dr. Rubita, Dr. Gio, and Mr. Rajat from our institute. So it is really it's a very tempting what we have seen. Actually, if you go to the spots and spend more and more time, I think we'll know about ourselves, our heritages, our sites, our spots, our country, our people, our lifestyle, the people, many things more. So first, the last, I extend my thank on behalf of IHM Gwalior, the students and staff and management of IHM Gwalior. I express my thankfulness to Dr. Rubita, Dr. Gio, and my all my hosts and co-hosts and colleagues, as well as the students who have spent their time for attending this webinar to learn more and more. So it is really fascinated. We are fascinated by the words of Dr. Gio and the beauty of Dr. Rubita, and also the small presentation by our own colleague, Mr. Rajat. So I wish everybody success, and maybe in futures we'll plan. We should keep in our mind that when everything permits to us the time, the money, and the period of whatever, maybe vacation or a leave or whatever, we should grab this opportunity in future to know more about our country and the rural areas and the spots. So that is what the Ek Bharat Shresth Bharat we are celebrating by knowing each other's aspects and each other's tourism segments. So with this, I thank everybody for this webinar today, and the time to bye. So thank you, Mr. Jordar. I think it's saying goodbye to all of them, and I think we may catch them in future also. So whenever such occasion will come in front of us. Thank you, everybody. Thank you.
Sir, one thing like I would like to apologize before Dr. Puro, sir, with paired hands and with bowed down head, I will beg your pardon that there is a little bit like a mistake in the spelling, and I apologize for it on behalf of Aicham Gwalior. So he is Mr. Nizo Puro, Dr. Nizo Puro. Sir, I think you will excuse us, and thank you, sir.
That's
Please
fine. That's all right.
excuse us for
That's
that.
okay.
It's a
No
mistake,
problem.
sir.
No problem.
Gio. So
Yeah,
I
no
was
problem.
Okay.
taking Dr. Gio in most of the time. So I feel very sorry for this. I think Dr.
No,
Puro,
no,
I
no.
think
That's okay. That's
Okay.
fine, sir. No, no worries. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So anything from Mr. Bhatt
Yes, I just
for
one
closing session?
request. Yes, I just one request to open the camera. It will be a great session. That
Hmm.
if somebody can open the camera, I will take the screenshot, final screenshot.
Okay. Fine. I think
Just open
your
the
audibility.
camera. Yes, yes, very much.
Fine. There's some audio problem, I think. Now, I think this is the time to like say goodbye to everybody. So we will say that please stay connected digitally, stay safe, stay happy, and let us make us a promise that when the COVID-19 will be over, we will invite Dr. Puro, we will invite Dr. Rubita to IHM Gwalior to
Sure.
have a better session face to
Yeah,
face. So
that
welcome,
would be
Dr.
great.
Puro, and
Yeah.
welcome, Dr. Rubita. Thank you very much.
Thank
Good
you,
day,
sir.
Thank
sir.
you, sir.
Thank you. Yeah. Hope to see you, sir.
Thank
Right,
you,
sir.
thank
Thank you,
you,
madam.
Ubita ma'am. Thank you,
Okay.
Professor. Thank you so much.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, bye.
People have changed the dates, so please download your certificate from here. I have changed the. Please download the certificate. I've changed the mistake that was there. Rest all is fine.